afternoon, everybody, and welcome to episode 5 of the Wheelhouse Knits podcast. My name is Heather Johnston, and I am coming to you from Quispamsis, New Brunswick, Canada. I live here with my husband Adam and my 4-year-old son Sawyer. I have been knitting pretty avidly for almost, I would say 8 years now, ever since I finished my second degree and I didn't have to study anymore. I picked it up again and haven't stopped. I'm supposed to be studying right now, actually. I have a credentialing exam tomorrow, but I needed a little study break. So I thought I would hop on and record a podcast while the boys are out of the house and it's quiet. Adam is working. He is on his 2-week on rotation. Sawyer's at daycare. So it's nice and quiet. I am in a different spot to podcast today than normal. I'm upstairs in our upstairs living room just because I normally would podcast downstairs in my yarn room, and it's dark in our basement, and it's a really overcast, dreary day today. We're supposed to get a ton of rain later, so it's really, really dark down there. So I thought since it's quiet up here and I know I'm not going to get any little 4-year-old visitors, I would try this. And I apologize. My throat is so dry. I don't know why, but it's so dry. It's killing me lately. Must be like postnasal drip allergies or something. It's not normally this dry. So I've just got water. I'm brewing coffee because I just went, we are a port city and we have cruise ships that are starting to come back in since COVID. So they've actually opened this new container village in our city, and there was an open house today and I went. Some of our favorite local businesses have pop-ups there in Container Village. So it's kind of like a concentrated, they're in shipping containers, concentrated collection of boutique stores. And one of them is from Fredericton, New Brunswick, the Donut Bar. So I've got coffee brewing because after I podcast, I'm going to have a donut. I've already had one donut, but I'm going to have another donut. They're delicious. Yeah, so drink my water, wait for my coffee to finish. I got a fruity pebble on my thumb. Sorry. So if you're near St. John, you should check that out. It's open until November. And it's 11 to 7 with extended hours on cruise ship days. It is awesome. I visited the NB box. It's like the little NB box pop-up, I think they called it. The Donut Bar, and where else did I visit? Epoch Coffee. I got some coffee grounds, and then I visited the Port of St. John. They had a booth there where I got an Allie Beckwith Beck and Boyd sweater. It says Port City. So my husband is a tugboat captain. He's worked for a tugboat company for like 15 years now. So we are all about Port City. We're happy to have him in St. John now, actually working in our port and not traveling. So had to show the support for the Port City and get some donuts and a new hoodie. Anyways, I digress. So welcome. I have been procrastinating, studying for the last couple of weeks and knitting quite a bit. I work well under pressure, so, wasting my time knitting just forced me to work harder in the end, which is what I am doing right now. Anyways, so I have a couple finished objects to show you. I have 3 whips that I've been working on. I have some new yarn that I've purchased. And yeah, we had a little meetup a couple weekends ago that I want to tell you about of local knitters. So, okay. First thing I'm knitting on socks. I showed these last podcast, but I had just cast them on, and I mean like just cast them on. Had only cast them on. I don't even think I had joined in the round. So this is my Studio Brita project bag. I love this bag. I use it all the time for socks. It's absolutely beautiful. So this is my favorite self-striping indie dyer. This is the Summer Love colorway by Nomadic yarns. So I have knit the leg, I did my heel flap and gusset, and I just finished the decreases for the gusset. So I'm back to my 64 stitches. This is just the standard sock pattern that I use, Susan B. Anderson, How I Make My Socks. It's a free pattern. It's the one I've been using since I learned to make socks, and it's just basic, no nonsense. I love it. It's great vanilla sock recipe. Now I do all my sock on 9-inch circulars, and I just find I can knit so much faster. So this colorway is perfect. It is exactly the change that I needed from those other Canada socks that I was knitting for my husband for Christmas and I just wasn't enjoying. So these are great. I throw them in my bag. I was knitting on them this morning when I was waiting for grocery pickup. Our trailer that we go to in the summer on the Kingston Peninsula, there's a ferry that we have to take there and back. So I usually get like 10 minutes of knitting in the car there, 10 minutes back. So I've really only knit on this kind of waiting for things. So it makes a lot of progress when you pick it up here and there and just have it kind of on the go at all times. So this will be done in no time. So yeah, that is Summer Love Nomadic Yarns, just a vanilla sock. So that's the first whip that I've been working on. Oh, my coffee's ready. The second thing, sorry. The second thing I have been working on is my Inclination cowl. This is by Andrea Mowry. So I had started this last time, but just barely. So I think last time I podcast, I was here, and I'll show you it now. So this is a cowl that you knit flat and then you seam together at the very end. It's by Andrea Mowry. It's her newest pattern. She's Drea Renee Knits. So this is a sport weight pattern. They didn't have the yarn that was suggested for it at our local yarn shop, so I just grabbed what I could find. I am using Cascade Heritage in Woodsy, and I am using a Zauberball, which is my very first time using one in Piano Bar. So I'll show you the two together. This is Fisherman's Rib. So there's lots of color changes. Goodness, I feel like I need some tea with honey. Excuse me. Okay, so this is the Zauberball in Piano Bar. So there's purples and greens and oranges. And then this is the Cascade Heritage Weave in Woodsy. So those two colors together are what I'm using for the Inclinations cowl. So you cast on here down at the bottom and you increase both sides. And then you come up to here and you stop increasing on this side and you keep increasing over here. And then this green stitch marker is the halfway point of the cowl. So I did all my increases and now I am decreasing. So you can see over here, I just started my decreases. So once I get that all done, I will bind it off and seam it together. Okay, maybe I shouldn't be having coffee. I should probably be having some tea with honey. So this is, it's kind of slow going right now, actually. I don't know, I really like Fisherman's Rib, but I don't know if it's because they're like fall colors and now that I'm into spring and I've been knitting with really bright yarns, I'm just not feeling this as much, but I want to get it done because I really want to cast on a new brioche shawl, but I don't want to do it with this sew on the needles. I'll just feel better if it's done. And this is in my Matterroot main bag, which I love. You can fold it over, I think I've showed before, but I just use it like this and grab it like this. It's huge. I love this so much. I got it on a trip down to the States when we actually still traveled. Okay, so those are, I think, the two things I've showed before. This one, I've been talking about it, but I finally cast it on. This is the Bits and Bobs blanket by Kay Jones. So I've knit a Bits and Bobs blanket before, which I showed. And this is my second one. So I have cast this on. And this is it so far. So I'm using the Creative Knitter, their 2021 Rainbow Advent, which I showed. And I am using Lilo and Roxy Basics held double with it because this is 2 fingering weight strands of yarn. And I'm using just a white skein. It's called Not Quite White, so just plain white yarn held with my mini to get my double. Right now I'm knitting this one. And I'm knitting it exactly as the pattern's written. That's what I did with my last one. I love the size of it, so that's what I'm doing with this one. So I'll show you from the bottom. So I started with this purple, and then it went into these pinks and reds, and now I'm in the oranges. So it's a rainbow. I'll insert a picture of the minis that I have. It is beautiful. My son loves this. He has been like, how come that's not done, mommy? Well, because it takes forever. Also, this is like the perfect TV knitting because it is Fisherman's Rib, but there's no purling. So I love that. So you can just knit and knit and knit. It's an awesome pattern. I'm really happy with how this is turning out. So I'm on my 9th color right now. This is the last orange. And then I just pulled out the yellows. So these are the next 3 ones that will go in my blanket. And my husband will probably pop home tonight. He's been at work. Well, he's working, but because he's in St. John, he can come home like between tides sometimes. So we might not see him for 3 days, and then we might see him for a couple hours. And the moral of the story is we no longer go 4 weeks without seeing him, which is what we used to do. So this is way better. And he winds all my yarn. So I pulled these out because if he comes home later, I'm gonna get him to wind these for me. Basically, he said anything except mohair because he hates that shit. That's the hill he's gonna die on. He's not a fan of mohair. I think it's just my Swift. So these are the next ones to go in my blanket. So I got those all ready to go. I'm on my 2nd skein of the white. I think I bought 5 of these. These were like an awesome deal. I wanna say I paid like $20 to $25. I can't remember exactly, but they were very, very economical for the just the full skein of yarn. I think I ordered 5. I feel like they were 20, but don't quote me on that. They were very, very reasonable. They have a ton of colors too. And they have a natural, and this is like white. So I just thought it would go really well. I'm really happy with this. So I've started this and gotten here since my last podcast. Hence the procrastination of studying. I've also started and finished 2 things since my last podcast. I'll show you the first one. So I've showed it before, but I'm knitting this Stria cardigan. It's a fisherman's rib cardigan. Sorry. It's a fisherman's rib cardigan. And I've been working on it, but not making any progress to kind of write home about. But Andrea Mowry, again, I think she's one of my favorite designers. She released the matching hat pattern. So of course, I needed some instant gratification. So I cast this on and I knit it in like a weekend. This is all knit with leftover yarn. I had a 50-gram natural skein. This is Madelintosh. I don't even know the colorway name because it was, I went to my leftovers bin and just pulled colors out. So this is it. So I know this is Madelintosh. I think this is Hedgehog. This is Homespun House. This is Vivid. This was Vivid. Yeah, I think that's it. So I like it. It's just the tiniest bit slouchy. I'm gonna regret putting this on, but I didn't block it because Sawyer and Adam blew up all the balloons after daycare the other day to play with. Little did they know those were for blocking hats. So this is the hat here. I don't usually love a slouchy hat. I really like beanies, but anyways, I don't think it's like overly slouchy, that I do like it. And I didn't really want to compromise on the stripes. So I like it. It's warm. It's not too tight. I did the German twisted cast on for this, and I like that it has a long section here to cover my ears. My ears get really cold. Anyways, so this is the hat. When I get more balloons, I will block it. Lately, it's been hilarious because Sawyer will get Adam to blow up the balloon, and then he'll say, okay, let it go, and it'll fly around the house, and that's just the funniest thing in the world. So anyways, I loved this pattern. It was super quick. It was super fun. The decreases, like, I don't know, this was my first time doing decreases in fisherman's rib like this in the round, so I definitely had to watch the videos, but very clear in her pattern notes exactly what ones to watch, and they were easy once I watched the video. So yeah, lots of ends to weave in was the only thing I didn't like, because I hate weaving in ends. So that is my first finished object. And my second one, you won't be surprised, probably, are more test knit socks for Nancy, Wheel's wife. So she released her 3rd pattern. Won't we match? She released her 3rd pattern, the Freddy beach socks. So these are them. There's a beautiful texture pattern. And if you look at her inspiration photo, you can see there's a bridge in Fredericton with these kind of columns, and that's like bang on for inspiration. So I knit these socks in 2 days. I was off work, not studying. And I knit these socks and they were just so fast. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 repeats for the leg. And then I did 5.5 for the foot. And then I started the toe. I did it exactly as written. This was knit on 9-inch circulars right to the toe, 2.25 millimeters. This is Long Dog yarn in Coral Crush and Epic. So I've been using their sock kits a lot lately. I used another one for Nancy's pattern. So anyways, I love these socks so much. And I think I'm gonna make a pair for my mom for Christmas. She would really like them. So very, very enjoyable to knit. And Nancy, as always, this pattern is available on Ravelry already. It's been released. Nancy donated the proceeds from a certain amount of time for the pattern to the Grace House in Fredericton, which is a homeless shelter in Fredericton, New Brunswick, which was amazing. So this is her 3rd charity donation from her socks that she has been able to do with our support. And I'm so happy for her. I love her patterns. I love knitting them. I love wearing them. I haven't worn these ones yet because I've been saving them for the podcast, but I can't wait. So that is that. And since I've podcasted, my friend Julie from Twin Stitches Design has opened her own yarn shop. So she ships, you can do local pickup. We did a knitting meetup in Sussex lately. So we had people come on a Sunday and meet up, and we sat and knit for a couple hours. So she was kind enough to bring my purchases there with her, but she has tons of yarn, and she has notions, project bags. Sometimes she has de-stash stuff on there. So you should check it out. It's Twin Stitches Designs, because I have 2 new sock sets that I am in love with. Okay, the first one that I got, I've never knit with Polka Dot Creek before, but I love this. This is the Mermaid's Tail sock set. So it is gorgeous. So these sold out. I was at work and I missed the update. So Julie brought more in, and I was able to get some in the second round, which was perfect. And then the other one that I purchased is this one, which is I've never heard of this dyer before. So I love purple. Purple is my favorite color. So when I saw this, I knew I had to have it. This is Yarnaceous fibers, and this is the Twin Stitches Designs colorway. I think this was like an exclusive. So this is the Cliffs of Funday sock set. So I am in love with the 2 contrasting colors. I think they just go so well together. Beautiful. So this is 100 gram skein, 437 yards, and then 220 gram minis, 87 yards. And these are, it's 85-15, so 85% superwash, 15% nylon. And I just think the little logo is adorable. So I have 2 new sock sets. Now I just need to figure out what to do with them. Cause with these, I like to keep them together and knit like pair of socks. So maybe I'll have to wait for Nancy's next test knit and cast on one of these for them. So that is acquisitions. We did have a meetup in Sussex, like I was telling you. And we've done it before. We've done it twice before. I wasn't able to go the first time, but we did it last year. And Nancy Wheeler, Wheel's wife, coordinated it. And which was so nice of her to do, because somebody just took the initiative and kind of set out a date. And like my friend Leanne and Christy and I went, Nancy went, Deb from Yarn Indulgences, Julie from Twin Stitches, Sophie came from Sophie's Knits and Things, and who else came? I'm forgetting names. Manon from La Violette Yarn Shop, and Rochelle, Moncton Knitters that came with Julie. Actually, one of them's an RT and is married to a girl that I used to work with, her brother. So it's a small world. I can't remember who else came. But we did a mini skein swap, and we all brought in like skeins. If we just didn't love them anymore, we brought them in, we put them in a big pile, and we just did a big swap. So it was kind of nice. You got to rotate through your stash without spending any money. You got more minis. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with mine yet, but scrappy blanket or something. But it was so nice to see everybody. We had perfect weather. It was sunny, but we had a breeze. We had some shade. Last year we were in like direct sunlight and I got a wicked sunburn. So this year was perfect. It was really, really nice Sunday afternoon to be able to leave the boys and go do that for a little bit. So it was much needed, and I think we should do it more often. So that is it for knitting. I have also been reading some books. So right now I am listening to the Vanishing Half by Brit, Bennett. It is a Reese Witherspoon book club book. I'm borrowing it from the library. It's really good. It is about two twin sisters who are Black, and one of them passes as a white woman in the 60s and 70s, and it's kind of their two experiences. So commentary on racism and the South in America during that time period. It's really, really interesting. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm halfway through. And I've been reading some, like, I don't know why, when the weather gets warmer, I tend to read like fluffier books, beach reads or rom-com, whatever you want to call it. I don't know, it just seems like I don't have to think about it as much. And then in the winter, I kind of read heavier books. Seems to be my pattern. So I read one that was really cute. It was called Part of Your World by Abby. Oh, I'm not going to pronounce this properly. Abby Jimenez. Put it on the screen here. It was really, really cute. I liked it. Yeah, it was enjoyable. I recommended it to one of my coworkers. Yeah, I liked it a lot. It was kind of about this doctor who has a family legacy, and she meets this small town guy who also has a family legacy in his town, and how their worlds don't really belong together, but they meet and they can't seem to stay away from each other. It was adorable. I really liked it. And I liked it because it had moments where people realize that they need to do what is best for them and not necessarily what everybody else tells you that you should do. And just because you're related to somebody by blood doesn't mean that you owe them anything. So I liked that aspect of it. And then I did read a book. This is probably unpopular opinion. I read a book that is like a highly anticipated kind of summer read. It's called Book Lovers by Emily Henry, and I've read her books before and enjoyed them. This book, I listened to it on Audible. It drove me crazy. I did not enjoy it, and I'm probably the only person that I know that will say that. And I recognize that maybe it's because I listened to it on Audible and not read it, but it's about two sisters who go on a trip together, and there's an older sister, younger sister, and the younger sister calls her older sister Sissy. So she spent the whole book being like, Sissy, Sissy, and it drove me crazy. Like, it was like nails on a chalkboard to me. Every time they said that in the audiobook, I just was like, oh, like, it just was like whiny and sissy, sissy. Like, it was grating on my nerves. So maybe if I had have read it and not like heard it with that expression, I would have liked it better. But I barely could get through that book just because that was driving me crazy. So it is what it is. I also read Wish You Were Here. I don't read a lot of Jodi Picoult books, or however you say her last name, but I did read this one. I borrowed it from the library, and this book got me. I didn't see the twist coming that happens in the book, and so I liked this book. But I will say it has a lot to do with COVID and the pandemic. And so I work in healthcare. I didn't love, like, I thought it had a little bit to do with that, but then it became really heavy to do with that. And I was invested by that point, and I had gotten tricked by something that happens in the book that I didn't see coming. So like, I needed to see how it ended. But it was a little bit too much COVID for me, who like lives that. It was just like, I don't want to go do this at work all day and then come home and read this kind of thing. But I liked it. It was good. So just be forewarned that it is COVID heavy, and like COVID ICU heavy, and chronic illness and things like that. So just if you've had somebody who has been affected by COVID, or you work in healthcare and you're looking to shut your brain off at the end of the day, or etc., this may not be the book for you. I didn't realize it was so COVID heavy. I did really enjoy it, but I just kind of wasn't mentally prepared. But it was really good, and I don't normally read her books, but I liked it. And then the last one I'm reading is another like rom-com. I don't know, I keep falling asleep when I pick this one up, so I'm not sure how it's gonna go, but it's called Crush in the Cascades by Lisa Gale. I just started it. I'm like 3 chapters in. It's like fluff. So summer read with my vanilla sock at the trailer on the deck while Sawyer plays. So that's what I can hope for anyways. I think that is it for today. I'm gonna go make some tea and get a drink with some honey in it, because I don't know why my throat is so dry. But it's really bothering me all of a sudden. I probably haven't talked this much. I hope you all have a lovely day, and I thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next time.